Alright, this is Cozy Inc. and this is our prototype video. So to start off, before we get into the prototype itself, we want to talk about the why, how, and what of our company. So kind of the why behind it is we're really looking at creating a system that prevents heat loss through kitchen exhaust fans through an insulated system that we developed that integrates in. It's really there to lower heating bills. So the how, I kind of touched on that, is the insulated elements that can be inserted into the existing typical exhaust fan system to allow for it to integrate together. And what we're doing exactly is creating a insulated, automatically opening system that is connected to the electrical system of pre-existing different exhaust fan systems. So just before I get into what the purpose is, we want to talk about the prototype itself. So in this first one, you can see kind of a full body image. It's kind of hard to see because it is zoomed out, but it does have the two open plates, the fan, and then the different parts of it. And the next few slides have some closer up images. So starting off in this top section, there's a red square up here. That red square is actually a pressure plate that when it's pressed against is going to have an indicator that is turned on, an indicator light. That way you know that the fan system's opening, because that was a concern that people had, was how do you know the plates are open and not preventing the fan from just blowing stuff into the plates. The next image is an insulated middle section of it. That middle section is there for the insulation itself to make sure the heat is not being lost. And then the final image on the bottom is showing kind of the wiring that would be running through the system, connecting everything together. The next one is two different settings of it. The first one is when the system is on, so there's an on switch. The system is already open, and pressing on the pressure plates, which is turning the indicator light on green. And then when the system is off, the pressure plates are closed, creating the insulated area, as well as having a light that is turned off, so you know that everything is off and ready to go. So the purpose of our prototype, all of those things, is to have a model for developmental testing. We're talking about doing computational fluid dynamics, as well as heat testing, make sure it is actually functioning the way we want it to, as well as having visuals for stakeholders and helping the customer better understand the product itself, so we're not just kind of throwing this out there, they have an actual image in their head. Our level of approximation for it is pretty high in order to do the testing that we're talking about. If we don't have something that's similar, the testing really doesn't make any difference. So we've kind of had a high level of approximation to make sure that is right. It's also designed to meet general exhaust fan systems of general dimensions, as well as designed for manufacturing ideas. So those are kind of principles that are there to make sure that you're creating something that's not too abstract and it's pretty easy to create and be produced on a mass scale. And finally, it's not a perfect prototype. It's not perfect, so it's allowing us to have some flexibility in design when we're doing those iterative testing to allow for it to be able to be functional over the long term and make it even better over time. And then finally, we talk about our investment and then the usage of our funding itself. We're asking for about $20,000, which seems like a lot of money, but then the usage of that funding is first based on going to 4 home improvement trade shows, like one of them called the Sunbelt Builders. That Sunbelt Builders is a presentation in Texas. We looked up how much a booth would cost and then estimated kind of the cost upwards from there of going to 4 different conferences. As well as we want to do further testing and development of a physical prototype, so we have something to show people that is in their hands so they're able to see a little bit more about what our product is. And then finally, we want to market the kitchen exhaust fans to different fan producers and home appliance manufacturers, so there's people that are actually putting our product out there in the long run. So thank you for listening. That's a little bit about our product.